How good is the start?
It's a good start.
It's a great start.
Yeah, it's the first win.
And why do we play?
You play to win the game.
And what do we want?
I want winners.
I'm not bipartisan. I'm not bipolar. I'm not Biden.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond live, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football. We talk football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like this video and answer the question in the comments below. What the hell took Auburn so long to retire Cam Newton's jersey, and why did it need to happen after Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter got their jerseys retired at Colorado? We're also going to get into some week 0 predictions because now, kiddos, we are keeping score. I'm picking winners. That's what we do here. It's like 2 for the money with Matthew McConaughey. All I do is pick winners, okay? I'm going to tell you who's going to win the football game. I don't give a damn about no spreads, but we'll put that in there because some of y'all are degenerates in that way. I don't care about covering the spread. I don't care about how many points you won by. I care about winning. You know why I care about winning? Because we play for this little thing called a national championship, and it ain't determined by what the damn spread is. However, if you are that kind of person, and that's the way you want to go about doing it, you can do that. Here, we do the money line, straight up. What you going to do? Is it going to be Iowa State? It's going to be Kansas State. It's going to be Fresno State. It's going to be Kansas. It's going to be Hawaii. It's going to be Stanford. Is it going to be Western Kentucky, or is it going to be Sam Houston? No longer Sam Houston State because they want to get bougie with their name. But we'll leave that for a little bit later in the show. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling right. You know what I'm saying? Got off of a really long ride today. And by really long ride, I mean very short. You know, it's super chill. Man's tried to fall out of his clipless pedals like 3 times today. But after putting in my first 200-mile week, I'm feeling kind of fresh. I'm feeling kind of wild. And you know what? I took that descent at 31 miles an hour. And I got to tell y'all, it's as close as I've ever felt to feeling like I'm on that aircraft carrier. And I'm talking about Dagger 1 up and ready. We about to go get into this. Set the timer at 2:15. And I can't wait to hear Jay Ellis's insecure ass say, 2:15, that's impossible. For you, lame. But for me, Hangman, nah, dog. This is your savior speaking. Return your seats, tray tables to are locked in upright positions and prepare for landing. As you can see, dog, we ready to go. Let's get into it because for all it is, dog, we've had such a newsy day. We've got Julian Sayin as the QB1 for Ohio State. We thought that was going to happen. We got Joe Flacco for the QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. While we thought that was going to happen, I already did this segment. It's kind of garbage, to use that French term that we love so much around here. You got 6 quarterbacks under contract, and you ain't got no starter. So the dude you go to is the 40-year-old? The hell up out of here, man. Just give Shedeur the reins or get to stepping. You know, we got 32 teams in the NFL, but that's because we can't kick the Cleveland Browns out. And then we get Joey Aguilar on Sunday. He's the QB1. We thought that would happen. Sorry to George McIntyre and Jake Mecklinger, mostly their parents, who are going to have to hear us talk nasty about them for just a little while longer. We also got Quentin Joyner going down what we thought was an ACL injury. That sucks because they paid him a lot of money transferring from USC to be their bell cow back after losing Todd Brooks to the NFL. But Texas Tech still expects to play for and win the Big 12 championship, even though they ain't won more 9 games since 2009. We got a serious injury on the Michigan offensive line for a 5-star freshman we thought was going to get a lot of run. And a true freshman quarterback that ain't proved nothing and nobody was getting paid $12 million. We got the same dude that paid the $12 million to Larry Ellison. Watch his son finally get control of Paramount. And what's he do? I'm going to hand an annual contract to UFC for $1 billion annually. And you know what? We may get around to Top Gun 3. You better damn well get around to Top Gun 3. You ain't got no other job as far as I'm concerned, David Ellison. You know, already said, I don't know what we're going to do with the television, right? So my man Josh Pate's over there at On 3 when you could have had him for probably what you had him on at CBS Sports. Shout out to Josh, getting the bag. Love that for him. Love that for us. One of the greats in our sport today. And then you go say, hey, Taylor Sheridan's one of the geniuses of our time. Nah, dog. Taylor Sheridan just be out working y'all. That's what it is. I know because I be out working y'all. Am I a genius? No. But will I turn out the kind of content at the rate of kind of content that Taylor Sheridan will? You damn well are right. I will be. I will keep the lights on if you let me, as long as you shoot on my ranch. See, I got all these takes, I got these opinions because I be consuming this knowledge like this. I had to tell people what the Hoon bed was on the 7-Eleven because I'm that type out here in these streets riding my beat the hell up Schwinn. But you know what? One day, blah, la, 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 wait till I get my money right. And then that S-Works is going to be mine. Then that Cannondale is going to be mine. Then I'm going to be over here with $10,000, $15,000 bicycles talking about, yep, I did that. Why? Because I wanted to. And I feel the serotonin. You know what I'm saying? I feel the endorphins when I'm cycling, when I'm spinning around, even when I can't clip out of my pedals. I'm telling y'all, I'll ride 50 miles. I'll try to come to a complete stop and be like, damn, is my ankle going to spin out? Nope, I guess we're going over. It be like that sometimes. And that's feel you got to feel if you are Auburn, having to hear me talk about, hey, what took y'all so long to retire Cam Newton's jersey? Because not too long ago, and by not too long ago, I mean quite literally like 4 years ago, I wrote about the 10 best players to ever play college football. And people were irate, I tell you, that I did not have Reggie Bush at 1, that I did not have Vince Young at 1, that I did not have Joe Burrow at 1, because I only got 1. There's only one of them ones. Only one of them ones. And he wears 2. Only one of them ones, and he wore 2 at friggin' Auburn. His name is Cameron Jarrell Newton. Greatest college football player to ever live. Full stop, period. I hope he sees this. I hope it makes it onto his channel. I hope it makes it onto his stand-up where he's doing his TikToks, because I feel that way. He might not feel that way. But you know what? Damn it, it's my opinion. It ain't Cam Newton's opinion. He's the greatest college football player to ever walk the face of the earth. And I got all these ways of proving it. But my favorite way of getting at it is you can't tell me who else played on the offense at Auburn. That's how damn good he was. It was, you know what? With all due respect, which could be none, it was Cam Newton and the 10 dudettes. That's what it was, 10 dudettes. You don't know who they were because you didn't know who they were, because that's how good he was. Defensively, it was Nick Fairley and the 10 dudettes. So it's really just Cam Newton, Nick Fairley, and they went 14-0 and won a 22 national championship. But you know what? I'm going to go through it before we get to the Shedeur part of this, because Cam Newton deserves his flowers and then some. So Cam Newton spent 1 year at Auburn. One year. Undefeated. After starting his career at Florida, where they ran this man off over some laptops. Now they ended up with Tim Tebow, and that turned out to be okay for them. But Dan Mullen wanted to start Cam Newton over Tim Tebow. Dan Mullen knew what time it was. He didn't want them problems. Okay. So then you get Cam Newton going to Blinn College in 2009, which nobody knew about till he got there in Texas, right? But then at Blinn, a monster. I'm going to get to Blinn here in a second, but I'm going to remind you that the first player to ever throw for 2,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards is also Cameron Jarrell Newton. Okay, there's that. Man with 2,800 yards passing, 1,473 yards rushing, 51 total touchdowns in 2010. It's ridiculous. 30 passing, 20 rushing, and 1 receiving. The man caught a TD. Hell up out of here. While Auburn goes, Auburn went 14-0, won a national championship. Okay? Won national championship, not 1 year, but 2 years in a row, because people forget that at Blinn College, he also whooped that ass. Look, at Blinn, the Buccaneers dropped 60 on Tyler Junior College. Some of y'all don't know where Tyler is. Some of y'all don't know nothing about Tyler, Texas, but you need to, because that's where Earl Campbell come out of. It's where Shedeur Sanders comes out of. They play a little football down there in Tyler, Texas, even though they was a little late getting on the integration train. And I know this because if an East Texas federal judge does not integrate Tyler, Texas, Earl Campbell probably doesn't end up at Texas to become its first Heisman Trophy winner. I wrote that story too. You can go read that at foxsports.com. Now, Cam Newton was responsible for 503 of the 601 total yards that Blinn put up on Tyler Junior College. Okay. He also accounted for 369 and 84 points against Cisco. They scored 84 points. Okay. All right. It gets better. He fell just 73 total yards shy of a 3,000-yard, 1,500-yard rushing season, passing season in the most remarkable season in junior college history by a quarterback at Blinn. Okay? Then he gets to Auburn, where he commences to put on one of the great performances that we've seen by any player ever, including the comeback. For those of y'all that are too young to remember, Auburn was down 24 points to Nick Saban's Alabama. And Cam Newton said, I'm going to put y'all on my back. We are not losing this damn football game to Alabama and Nick Saban. And the comeback is what it was, 28-27. 2009, I also got to see Cam Newton win his first game as starting quarterback. From 2009 to September 2011, Cam Newton did not lose a football game. Did not lose a football game. In the SEC championship game, Cam Newton put up 408 yards against South Carolina, and they dumped them on their skulls, 56-14. They get in the national title game. They win that game 22-19. He has 329 total yards. You know, it just wasn't Oregon's time, because it's never Oregon's time, because Oregon's never had a national championship, and it doesn't look like, doesn't look like that's going to change unless they tweak it a little bit. Dante Moore could be that guy, but he ain't Cam Newton. Played 11 years in the NFL, 10 with the Carolina Panthers, number 1 overall pick in 2011 draft, which is a loaded NFL draft, and won the NFL MVP in 2015. Led the Panthers to the damn Super Bowl. They lose to the Broncos. I'm not stretching it when I tell y'all, Cam Newton is the reason that we get to have a dual threat quarterback in the NFL like we do now. And I mean that by saying, if you aren't a dual threat quarterback, we looking at you with some real side eye. It used to be held against you. Hey, we don't need more Mike Vick. We don't need more Donovan McNabbs. We don't need more Randall Cunninghams. Yes, hell you do. Drew Bledsoe used to be the pinnacle of the profession. Now, Drew Bledsoe might not even make the 2 deep. Justin Herbert, 6'6" and 292 pounds or whatever, because that's a giant back there, but he can move. And if he couldn't move, he would be playing in the NFL. Take a look around. They would rather have Danny Milktoast, Danny Dimes out there competing with Anthony Richardson, which is the stupidest damn quarterback derby that I've seen in some time. Then go the other way, because they know that Danny Dimes got some speed, even if he going to trip himself up and he going to put the ball on the floor. Anthony Richardson need to learn how to be a pro, and then it's over for y'all. Tyrod Taylor gets to keep playing in the league, guys. Jameis Winston gets to keep playing in the league. Russell Wilson gets to keep playing in the league. Teddy Bridgewater's playing in the league. And Cam Newton's got one of the better shows by an athlete in the entire country. Full stop. So why, pray tell, after 15 friggin' years, is Auburn going to retire his jersey against Georgia? First of all, they're going to lose that game. I would retire his jersey against Oklahoma, a game you might be able to win, because you're not going to win that Georgia game. You're not. And Jackson Arnold is going to have to see Cam Newton get his jersey. Shoot. Tell the truth, Shane and Devil. You both put more money on Shedeur Sanders being an all-pro quarterback than you are Jackson Arnold winning the Heisman Trophy. Go ahead. Go ahead. In front of and put your hand on the good book, even though people be lying on the good book, but you know what? They're going to hell. We can't help them. Put your hand on the good book and tell me with a straight face, you believe that Jackson Arnold got a better chance of winning the Heisman Trophy than Shedeur Sanders being an all-pro. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, because you don't want to feel that lightning coming from the Almighty. And I ain't talking about the New Testament one that's talking about, hey, washed in the blood, everybody get to come through. No, I'm talking about the Old Testament one. It ain't suffer no fools. He will leave you out there for 40 years in the desert and let you think about what you have done. He will flood the world and say, you better get your ass on that boat. I try to tell y'all, hey, Sodom, Gomorrah, I said get some act right. Y'all ain't getting no act right. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one that's looking at you right now with your hand on the book. All right. If you one of them peoples that want to risk playing with his name like that, I don't want to be right near you. Matter of fact, I'll help you hold the metal pole. You know what I'm saying? You hold the metal pole. I'm going to be walking way over here. It's going to be broad daylight outside. You're going to get struck by lightning. So then we get Shedeur Sanders getting his jersey retired in Colorado, along with Travis Hunter. And we got a lot of Colorado Buffaloes, notably of the 1990 national champions, who are absolutely perturbed, beside themselves, pissed off, mad, bamboozled, run amok, led astray, because they can't believe what Deion Sanders has done. As if Deion Sanders is the only person that gets to have any say in retiring a jersey at Colorado. I look at it and I said, wait a second. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right here. Is Shedeur Sanders not the most prolific quarterback that Colorado has ever had? Is Cam Newton not the most important quarterback that Auburn has ever had? Do they have so many records that have Shedeur Sanders' name ahead of them now? You know, ahead of guys like Cordell Stewart, who throws up them hooks like Steve McNair threw up them hooks, man. You know, Slash. Remember Slash? I remember Slash. Some of y'all remember Darren Hagan was out here absolutely getting people done up. But he ain't no Rashawn Salam, RJ. Well, you know, RIP. But he's a better player for Colorado last year. A program that had no identity whatsoever. Shedeur and his daddy and his homie Travis Hunter gave them identity. Gave them a soul. Gave them something to live for. RJ, why are you trying to act like, you know, Colorado ain't done nothing in the 21st century? Because they ain't. The most important thing that Colorado done in the 21st century is produce Joel Klatt for the booth. Because that man is a menace up there. He is ahead of you. He is ahead of them. He could call every play for your team. He's that good at his job. But that's your most distinguished alumni. It ain't Laviska Shenault. Okay? Don't hit me with that. Don't come at me with that. I don't really care about your past in that way. I'm not that dude. I'm telling you what the popularity of the position means. So when you go from Joel Klatt to Shedeur Sanders, and you see what one has been able to do, you know, like finish atop the Big 12 conference like they did when Joel was quarterback. Miss the opportunity in this day and age because they're tied atop first place. They make an Alamo Bowl. They get beat by an 11-win BYU team. And the quarterback of that one caught a rape charge. He ain't play at BYU no more. They said you broke the honor code, premarital sex and all that. All Shedeur did was say I'm good, watch Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, Daniel Jeremiah, make him one of the top 25 players in the NFL draft, and watch that man slide to the 5th round, and all he does is comport himself with honesty and integrity. Some child at the Atlanta Falcons got a hold of his daddy's iPad, prank called him, and the man handled it with aplomb. He handled it with class. Dylan Gabriel got up outside his body and decided to try to make an entertainer versus competitor argument against Shedeur Sanders. That, oh, no, it wasn't my bad. I was talking about nobody in particular. Does it say FOOL on our foreheads? No, it does not. No, it does not. So now what we got? We got 6 quarterbacks and only one of them that's moving the needle. We got 6 quarterbacks. We got the Carolina Panthers having a home game for themselves while 74,000 people show up for a preseason game. 2.2 million people watched the preseason game because number 12 and Sanders was playing quarterback. Seems to mean something to me. If anything, I want an answer from Auburn about, you know, hey, you know what time it was. We had all these other jerseys retired. We got all these other Heisman winners. You're doing this now? Why did it take you so long? And I'm sure that there's an answer for that. I'm sure there's a good, intelligent answer for that. But I'm still waiting to hear it. So you tell me, what should have happened first? You getting outside Joe Body because Shedeur Sanders got his jersey retired? Or you just now figuring out it's been 15 friggin' years since Cam Newton made Auburn the center of the college football universe, and they just now getting around to honoring that man? Born that night, not born last night. Come back. Let's take a look at the week 0 slate. As Saturday, we playing football, baby. Yeah. Got a little juice here on Adapt and Respond Live with me, RJ Young. If you are new to the channel, new to the show, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer questions in the comments below. Do you think I'm going to go undefeated as I pick these games for the week 0 slate? So we're playing college football this Saturday. Kansas State, Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland. I don't know the first thing about Dublin, Ireland, except it was bad news for the mans that showed up there in the Sinners. Michael B. Jordan and his twin, Michael B. Jordan, wasn't having it with demands from Dublin, Ireland. You can come out with the rocky road, but you're going to leave with the sun coming up. And then, you wear that white robe around us. I don't know. There might be a dude out there with a Tommy gun. You never know. Could be. It's Mississippi, right? It's the 1920s. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen. Vampires, Ireland. That's what I think could go on in Farmageddon as we're getting the 109th edition of this. Because Michigan pulled out of the 2020 game, Kansas State, Iowa State have the honor of the longest running rivalry between two schools in major college football. I bet you didn't know that, mostly because neither one of those programs have been very good at the same time or even at all last 30 years. But we're coming into a golden era for Kansas State and, more importantly, Iowa State in 2025. Last year, Iowa State won 11 games for the first time in school history. 2020, they won their first major bowl game, Fiesta Bowl over Oregon. 2020, they had a unanimous All-American by the name of Breece Hall, and they had a little-known quarterback, 7th-round draft pick, Mr. Irrelevant, named Brock Purdy at QB. And then you get Rocco Beck beating Miami and Cam Ward in the Pop-Tart Bowl for that 11th win. Why is that a big deal? A, Miami, all they need to do is beat Syracuse to get into the ACC championship. They couldn't do it. B, Cam Ward's #1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, we got a number 17, Kansas State. We have a number 22, Iowa State. And according to our friends at Bet Online, who are partnering with the show for the start of the college football season, thanks to them, we got +3 for the spread on Iowa State. We got -3 on the spread for Kansas State. But on the money line, you get +40 Iowa State. You get -160 Kansas State. Means that Kansas State is favored here. I'm not so sure about that. And I'll get into that. But this has also been a closely contested rivalry, with Iowa State having won 4 of the past 5. And the series going 54-50-4. It's really close. Unlike Bedlam, for which Oklahoma owns Oklahoma State. Now, I think it's interesting because I think both of these programs could end up in the Big 12 championship. Iowa State did last year. They got absolutely stomped out by Arizona State, but they got there, right? They just fell a little bit short. There's also the Abu Sama of it all, which is a Kansas State killer, because those of y'all that are familiar with Abu Sama's videotapes, with his films, with his flicks, understand that he's rushed for 357 yards over the last 2 times that they played Kansas State, including 276 in 2023 when it was icy snow outside. That man wanted every bit of Kansas State. Might be a Wildcat killer. We'll see. But Carson Hansen, other tailback at Iowa State, led them in rush yards 752 last year. Between the two of them, one of those guys is due for a 1,000-yard rushing season. But because they were so good throwing the football last year, it was difficult to divvy up the carries. He had a 150+ for Carson Hansen. He had like 125 for Abu Sama. But you also had Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins on the outside. Both those guys got drafted last year, outstanding wide receivers. And the reason why Rocco Beck was able to throw for 3,500 yards, 25 TDs, 9 picks last season. This year, you got some unknown quantities at wide receiver. You really need Carson Brown and Xavier Townsend to step up for Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. If that happens, Iowa State probably wins this game going away. Also, you need to start thinking about a raise for your wide receiver coach at Iowa State, because when you take a look at what they have produced the last 5 years, take it back to Hutchinson, and then you think about Charlie Kolar, and you think about their tight end room. They've been pretty damn good, to say nothing of John Haycock and that drop 8 defense that just makes life really difficult for quarterbacks. Mostly because you are forced to check it down all the time. Ask Baker Mayfield about that in 2017. Meanwhile, Kansas State, they got these dudes, Avery Johnson, not to be confused with, everybody's favorite Avery Johnson. This one is actually, he looks like the complete opposite of the Avery Johnson in your brain. Leave it there. You also got Dylan Edwards back there. So between Avery Johnson and Dylan Edwards, you got probably the fastest backfield in FBS. Both those guys can scoot. They can move. And you got a 2,700-yard pass, a 600-yard rusher in Avery Johnson. True dual threat. Dylan Edwards is going to be the bell cow back after DJ Giddens had an outstanding year last year. He's in the league. But you're also talking about an Edwards who was the 2024 Rate Bowl MVP against Rutgers. The reason I bring that up is he had 196 yards on the ground and 18 carries and 2 TDs against Rutgers. Rutgers was decent last year, but it's a harbinger of what is to come. I think if Jace Brown steps up and becomes that dominant wideout for Avery Johnson, they can be great. So, who am I picking to win this game? Well, it's Chris Kleiman, it's Matt Campbell. I know that Chris Kleiman wants his program built around the offensive line, always has. I know that if Avery Johnson gets loose against John Haycock's defense, you're in. However, I'm going to pick Iowa State to win this game because I really like what they got at tailback. I really like Rocco Becht, and I think they're going to figure it out on the outside. And I think John Haycock's defense is going to do enough to keep the ball in front of them, so we're going to go Iowa State as the pick here. Next on the docket, we got Kansas and Fresno State. Kansas-Fresno State is a battle of two small school coaches that are really great. One of them I absolutely love. You know how much I enjoy Lance Leipold, one of my favorite football coaches. He's also retooling, right? The only guy he's got coming back that we know a lot about is Jalen Daniels, and he sees it. It's going to sling it. It's going to be good. On the other side, you got Matt Entz, who spent last year as linebackers coach at USC, but before that won 2 national championships at North Dakota State. Now he's head coach at Fresno State. He's made E.J. Warner his starting quarterback. That's Kurt Warner's kid. I don't think that Fresno State has enough firepower to really compete with a Kansas team that is firing all cylinders and takes care of the football. They don't turn over the ball. They're really difficult to beat. Jalen Daniels, I'm banking on going into this final year, being draft eligible, having all the experience. I think he's going to be good. We're going to pick Kansas over Fresno State. Next on the docket, we got Western Kentucky and Sam Houston, who decided to drop the land grant part of their name because they bougie now. You know, like somebody that just got divorced. You know what I'm saying? I don't go by that no more. I'm back to my maiden name. You know, I liked it better when it was Sam Houston State, but I liked it better when it was Memphis State. I liked it better when it was Middle Tennessee State. I think that brings it back home for some of us. Now you're trying to look like you acting out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the artist formerly known as. You still the Bearcats. Anyway, neither here nor there except to say it rubbed me some kind of way. In Sam Houston, you got a first-year head coach in Phil Longo, who got a pretty damn good quarterback coming back, right? We got Hunter Watson, and you're adding a tailback in Shane Porter, and you're adding a tailback in Elijah Green. That's Indiana and North Texas, respectively. And they averaged about 6.7 yards per carry last year. But it's going to be brand new on defense, and they don't know if they're coming or going. And this is Phil Longo's got an air raid background, so we'll see. Okay? Other side, you've got Western Kentucky and Tyson Helton. All he's been doing is turning out dudes that throw the ball all over the yard and offensive coordinators that rise up throwing the ball all over the yard. Okay? So who's he got now? Now that, he's in the market again. Well, he went to Abilene Christian to go get Rick Bowie and Maverick McIver. And while you don't know either one of those dudes, but it goes about it the way you might think for a dude named Rick Bowie and a dude named Maverick McIver. What a name. What a name. Maverick McIver also threw 506 yards against Texas Tech last year. Okay, so that's one. 2 is he's thrown for over 8,000 yards, 63 TDs at Abilene Christian. I think they're going to sling it over there with the Hilltoppers. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be a shoe-in as a favorite to win the Conference USA. So we're going to take them plus 10, minus 370, minus 10, plus 296 for Sam Houston. And since I skipped over it with Kansas, Fresno State, minus 450 for Kansas, plus 12.5, minus 12.5. Fresno State, plus 350, right? I like Western Kentucky here. The last one we got to take a look at is Hawaii and Stanford. Stanford, 2-point favorite. But Hawaii is minus 133 on the money line. And this game is in Honolulu, which I think matters because, you leave from California to fly to Honolulu, that's an 8-hour flight. That's time zone, dog. I mean, that's rough for anybody. And playing over there ain't like playing over here. And you're doing it with a rental-led head coach. I realize that we're saying all the nice things about Andrew Luck wanting to return Stanford football back to whatever Stanford football was when he left it. But we're also looking at Frank Reich going, I'm only here for 1 year. What the hell am I actually going to get done here? I'm a placeholder. Meanwhile, Timmy Chang be the head coach of Hawaii, and I think he got himself a tiny little monster at quarterback. I've been very loud about this. Micah Alejado is that dude. Micah Alejado came out of Bishop Gorman, threw for 1,000,000 yards, threw for a bunch of touchdowns. Do you know why he wasn't a 5-star? He's short. And as another short man, I don't understand. I don't understand. What is it y'all holding against the short man for? He can't see over the offensive line. They run shotgun. They run from the spread. I don't need to see over the offensive line. You see these splits? One day I'm going to get Laurel in here to tell y'all that she's ever beat at 6 feet, and that didn't bother her about me. But that's neither here nor there. So at 5'10", as if 5'10" is short. My God. We talk about a dude that came out with a 3-star rating. But last year against New Mexico, you know what he did? I'll tell you what he did. 469 pass yards, 5 tutties. The Rainbow Warriors are going to be a lot of fun, and I expect them to take that Stanford Cardinal tree and beat them to death with it. That's what I expect to happen. I expect the Rainbow Warriors to make like Jason Momoa in Chief of War, catch that spear, break your arm, and let you know what time it is. Okay? That's what I expect. So we're going to go Hawaii. We're going to go Western Kentucky. We're going to go Kansas. We're going to go Iowa State. But RJ, you're picking favorites. I'm sorry. Do you see Buster Douglas over there? Even if you did, you didn't pick him. You picked Mike Tyson. What you think this is? This college football. Underdog. Since when does the underdog win? This ain't the NCAA tournament, son. No. It was Ohio State and Notre Dame in the national championship game last year. It was Penn State beating the crap out of Boise State, beating the crap out of Southern Methodist. You know what time it is, dog. Don't hit me with that. Meanwhile, one more week for the big boy football gets started to play, and we get 1 versus 2. And I don't give a damn that you mad it's at 11 a.m. I'm just grateful that they playing, dog. I understand. I work at the network where they got the 11 a.m. kick. I don't give a damn. It's football. I'll watch it a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Hell, I watched the preseason Monday night football game with the Washington Commanders and the Cincinnati Bengals because I'm that type. I love football. And for those of y'all that still crapping all over a 2018 college football playoff, you don't like football. You hate football. You don't like more football. You don't like more football. You want more pageantry. You go see a beauty pageant. Okay? You go be a pageant mom. Over here, we're playing the sport. We're knocking heads. We're trying to find out which one of us is the better team. You subscribe to this show. And for that, you might have eternal thanks. And you are on the better team. We will see y'all live on Saturday night. We're going to recap it, take a look at it, see how I did. Till then, stay low. Keep those feet driving. Deuces.